Welcome, one and all, to the Ash Said It Daily podcast show. I appreciate you guys so very much. I'm your girl, Ash Brown, and today we are joined by the wonderful, talented CEO herself of SashaTalks.com, Sasha Laghonh.
Hi, Ash. Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this for quite a while.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Let our audience know, where are you from?
Life started out in California, and then because while growing up, my dad, well, now he's a retired engineer, his work took us to different parts of the country. So up till probably middle/high school, every year a school was in some town or state. Or it would even be where I would be in one town, and then I would have to switch schools because the family had to move to the other side of town. That until, I would say, mid-teens, I didn't really have stability of being anchored down. But I did graduate from a high school in the Northeast and went on to do my first degree in Boston. And then I started traveling down the East Coast where I worked one of my fellowships, and I found the people at Washington, D.C. so gracious and welcoming. Because when you come from the New York area, you're used to just bumping into people. And when you say, how are you, by then you turn around and they're gone. Yeah. So for me, it was such a change in D.C., getting off the metro, and people are actually acknowledging me, and they haven't just rushed off after asking how I'm doing. So that was how they courted me and won me over, and I spent a good amount of time there. Okay. And then I started splitting time between the East Coast and the West Coast. So somehow California attracted me back for a nice period of time. Depending on my professional endeavors, I go up and down the East Coast, or I end up in Northern California.
So when you were back and forth East Coast, West Coast, what kind of time frame was that? Like, was that like a week in between, a day?
It would typically be a few months at a time. Worst case scenario would be a few weeks at a time, but I made sure that going back and forth, it does require resources, and sometimes it also requires a lot of energy physically in the mindset. Yeah. I welcome change, but I made sure that I would do it at least for a few to several months at a time. And then if I got lucky, I got to do it for over a year at a time.
When did you realize that you had this special gift that was given specifically to you?
Well, spirituality runs in my mom's side of the family, but because also coming from, you could say, a Sunday school type of environment where you don't mix God and spirituality, at least that may have been the traditional mindset, but it still exists out there, and I highly respect it. That as a kid, I would hear things, I would see things, I was privy to information that felt like it was just put inside me, and I didn't even have to seek it out. And because my mom, being a very hyper-vigilant mom, she always made sure of who I was surrounded by, who I was with, where was I. And at times, because we spent so much time around one parent more than the other, at least I did, because my dad would spend so much time working, she would pay attention to the things that would come out of my mouth or things that I would question. And she and her older sister are very much aware of these type of situations. I guess it was never spoken about until it was brought to their attention that she is privy to stuff, and there's a reason behind it. And I always thought other children were like me, even through my teen years. And then I realized that I was having more of a spiritual opening and awakening where more messages were coming through it. I would notice that the things that I picked up, whether they were premonitions, the things that I heard, because when you're clairaudient, you could hear messages. When you're clairsentient, which I'm very highly, where you feel things happening, but you can't explain it in a way of proving it to people. And then there are those who could see things. Now and then I am shown things. I could see spirits if I am meant to see them. But let me put it this way, I don't go seeking it out. So that's the beauty of it. I know that there's validity to the messages because of the amount of people I've assisted. But I don't play God. I'm not a prophet. I'm a human being. I have good days, bad days, and I'm also learning and growing with all of the people out there. So long story short, I put that part of me on the back burner where I didn't really talk about it with other people. But I continued, started off my corporate career, and I realized that things were going well. You could say whether it was materialistically or people want to work with you. But there was a part of me that I wasn't applying, and that was that spiritual part of me with my gifts.
Mm-hmm.
I had segregated that life with who I was. And when the economy started going down over a decade ago, I had to get really creative because more than half of my corporate compensation and benefits were being cut, and soon I would be out of the job market. And I said, what skill set or talent do I have that I have not capitalized upon, but there's a need for it? And I thought of my ability to intuitively counsel people based off some of the gifts that I have. And that's when Sasha Talks was born, because the original Sasha Talks website was only on one page with a headshot saying what type of topics I will counsel on. And that was it. And I started working through that theme to provide and supplement the gap that I had.
Yeah.
And I allowed it to grow. When I started it, it was to take care of a need, to also put food on the table. It wasn't about 10 years from now, I'm going to be talking to people about spirituality in business. Business is something that is more practical, common sense. So a lot of people say that's a very polarizing career you have, because in one world you're judgmental, you have to make decisions. In the other, you have to abandon judgment when you're helping people. And I come across all types of controversial, or what man would coin controversial topics, from people having affairs, unethical things happening, and then there are just day-to-day life questions that men and women have. I do work with adults, and when I do the spiritual counseling, I am not there to judge them. I am there just to relay the messages that come across, and I make them aware of their options. And I do not make the decision on their behalf, because I don't make those decisions on my employees' behalf in the business world when I'm managing external clients. So accountability and free will always reside within the individual. Now, the biggest challenge that we deal with in life is people are afraid of making a decision, because what if it doesn't pan out? Then they have to be accountable for it. And you and I both know that there are no guarantees in life.
No.
And even if you don't make the best decision, you get to refine your decision until it appears proper for you, and you have to live with it.
All right, so we're going to take a brief break. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Sasha. You spend 1/3 of your life sleeping. Why not make it comfortable with Casper? Ash Brown here from Ash Said It Daily. Casper products are cleverly designed to mimic human curves, providing supportive comfort for all body types. When I'm touring around the world, there's always one important detail missing: my Casper bed. I can't wait to get home for a restful night's sleep. There's nothing like it. The experts at Casper work tirelessly to make a quality sleep surface that cradles your natural geometry in all the right places. The prices are affordable because Casper cuts out the middleman and sells directly to you. They're all designed, developed, and assembled right here in the U.S. Don't forget about Casper's 100-night risk-free Sleep On It trial. Get $50 towards select mattresses by visiting casper.com/ash and using ASH, ASH, at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Get your Casper mattress for a restful night. Visit casper.com/ash. Promo code ASH. Welcome back, you guys. We're talking today with CEO of SashaTalks.com, Sasha Laghonh. Now, Sasha, as you were going through and you were discovering this talent that you had, this gift, this special thing that was given specifically to you, how were you able to relate to your peers? What was that relationship like?
Some people, they think because when you're a teenager, everybody wants to find a place where you feel you belong there. So I always knew that I was probably the black sheep of the family, but also that yearning to belong where you feel that you're just like everybody else. I think that was a process for me to understand that by the time I was 17, I had accepted within myself, in my heart, that I am different and there has to be a purpose for it. And I just have to have enough faith that I will find out later in time, as life plays out, why I am dealt with experiences that I'm dealt with. Because I also happen to be an empath, and there are many empaths out there. But you also, through living, acquire the discipline of how not to become a sponge around every energy out there. Everything has energy, every thought has energy, and every person has energy. And energy can fluctuate, good and bad. And I will say, at the end of the day, the greater the gift, the greater the responsibility. And with God's grace, I've been able to navigate through good and bad days with the guidance that has been instilled within me.
Last but certainly not least, what advice can you offer to any person now that is struggling with, it may not necessarily be the same talent that you have.
I can't have everything, right? Or else it defeats my point of living and learning my lesson.
Sasha, what's the best way for people to get in contact with you?
People are welcome to drop by sashatalks.com and check out the platform. And if you want to drop a hello, go to the contact page.
Sounds like a plan. Sasha, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, Ash.
Definitely. And thank you guys for tuning into the show. We appreciate you so very much. Keep in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face and tell them, don't believe me, just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for. We're doing this for the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.